I get on the court, I'm going to go 100%. This is who I am.
So Giannis has been a Buck for quite a while now. He's already entering his 13th season in the NBA with Milwaukee, making him the third longest tenured player with a single franchise, trailing only Steph Curry and Draymond Green with the Golden State Warriors. So here was Giannis on Saturday after arriving to Bucks training camp on his one priority for the rest of his career.
You got to play to win. I'm not playing. I don't play to just be around or get paid. I'm very blessed. Take care of my family. I can live with nothing, but I play to win. I play to accomplish stuff on the court.
So clearly, Giannis wants to win. And Shams, earlier you reported today that Giannis, over the summer, there was a conversation that the Milwaukee Bucks had with the New York Knicks about a path forward there. Is the window for those two teams to make a deal for Giannis closed?
Yeah, remember I reported that the Knicks had an exclusive negotiating window for Giannis Antetokounmpo in August. That window is obviously shut. We're not in August anymore. We're now in October. If it does reopen in the season, this whole Giannis Antetokounmpo element to the NBA season, that window is no longer exclusive just to the Knicks, and that's going to include other NBA teams. I expect it to go beyond just the Knicks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, his agent Alex Terrazas of Octagon, they've been figuring out which teams, if this does get to a point of a trade request, which team could find its way, which multiple teams could find their way. And I think that process will continue into the season if it lends to that. But the quarter mark of the year, 25 games, I'm keeping my eye on that for the Knicks and the rest of the league. Okay, because that could put us in the sort of December range. If there were to be other teams that get involved, Bobby, who has the assets to be able to do this?
Well, San Antonio still does. Even after acquiring De'Aaron Fox, they still have tradable picks to go out. Remember, they have that Atlanta pick. They have a swap in 2027. They still have tradable contracts when you're looking at players like Devin Vassell. You know the one team that still does? Houston. They went out and got Kevin Durant, but they still have a lot of draft picks to go out and make a deal. Of course, a player like Amen Thompson would be mentioned if they ever became available here. I do think Shams hit it right on the head of that quarter mark. Remember, this is a Milwaukee team that has 11 out of their 15 players that can't be traded until December 15th. Right. If they struggle, is there a way for them to improve their roster in the next 2 months? There isn't. So they're basically in a holding pattern right now.
Well, and as Shams said, right now it's going to be what does it look like for the next couple of weeks here for this team. But whenever Shams has this sort of deep reporting, that means there's going to be ripples around the league. And of course, head coach of the New York Knicks, Mike Brown, he was asked about the reporting at Knicks training camp this morning. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I don't get it, that stuff. We're in a great spot right now. Our guys, they're playing their tails off. Like I said, I love our guys, and I think they're starting to enjoy playing the way that we're trying to play on both ends.
So, Perk, from a player's perspective, how can hearing about a potential blockbuster deal impact a locker room here for a New York team that is trying to really compete in the Eastern Conference?
Well, it can, obviously, because, you go hear the whispers, the rumors, you go watch television, you go watch us and me, Kendrick Perkins say some stuff as well. So it can affect the locker room. But again, it's a business, and we always say that in the locker room. Remember, it's a business, so your name can be brought up. But I want to say the quiet thing out loud. Okay, the quiet thing out loud is that, to me, Giannis Antetokounmpo is just scared. He knows he don't want to be in Milwaukee. He's just afraid to say it. And on the other side of it, I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks, they know it. They're just in denial.
I want to say two things here. I think, number one, any player on any team, whether it's the Knicks or elsewhere, would understand if their team was interested in acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo. If he became even the whiff of being available, you owe it to yourself as an organization to investigate that. That's just reality. Everybody would admit that. The second thing I will say is when you talk about teams that would pounce on a Giannis situation if it was available, right at the top of the list for me is the Golden State Warriors. And look, one of the reasons why they fought so hard to get that Jonathan Kuminga contract into a spot where it could be traded was so they could go big game hunting. Not necessarily just for Giannis, but that's what they want to do as an organization. So to me, if it's not New York, Golden State is at the top of that list. I know the Texas teams can make strong offers as well. And I will also say, Malika, I was in Abu Dhabi with the Knicks last week. I will echo what Mike Brown said. I do think organizationally they're in a good place. They're excited about this new offense. I think they have momentum. I think this will probably not bother them. They always knew if Giannis became available, a lot of them would know that their names would be connected.
Just echoing regarding what Brian said, that's why the Jonathan Kuminga signing was so important. It doesn't work if Jonathan Kuminga is on a qualifying offer. It does on that big contract.
Okay, so let's all just take a breath here, right? Because what, Shams, you're saying is that 25 games into the season, we may hear more at this point. But in the last 30 seconds, what's the most important thing to know today about Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks?
I think it's a situation where the Bucks wholeheartedly believe they have a championship roster. Giannis Antetokounmpo made it clear where he felt on this matter. His real moment of leverage is next summer. Does it get to that point, or is he moved in season?
And that is the best way to sum that up, at least for today. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your afternoon with us here on NBA Today, and we will see you right here tomorrow.
NBA